was trying to buy some electronic parts on the internet to build a tube screamer on a printed circuit board, and I was having a hard time figuring out what capacitors and transistors and things to buy. So I thought I'd ask Mitch because he's done this before. So I brought up Tayda. I don't know, how's that?
Yeah, Tayda's a great place for parts. They have the prices are pretty reasonable. They're very cheap. Delivery's pretty good. Like, they're fast on delivery, and they have a wide range of stuff. And I have this feeling that they identified people that are building pedals DIY, like doing it themselves. They've identified that as a market because a lot of the material that they sell is perfect for pedal makers. It's kind of funny. They used to not quite have all the stuff they have now, but now they have like a lot of stuff for pedals. Like, they got foot switches, jacks, they got boxes, you know.
Yeah, I noticed I was able to find almost everything else, but I had a hard time, especially when you go to like capacitors, and they start out with materials, you know, ceramic disc, electrolytic capacitors, monolithic, ceramic. What's the deal?
Oh, okay. So the capacitors come in different like material or structure, right? The way that they're manufactured, and they can be useful in different parts of circuits for different stuff. Like, I think some people claim that different caps sound different. I think I saw a test though where somebody showed that the difference between the different materials for what we do, like the audio ranges for guitar stuff, doesn't really have much or any effect at all, or very little effect. But some people, like, you know, with very sensitive ears can tell, but I can't tell.
Okay, so how do you decide what to use?
Well, you know what? I mostly decide on the size of the package. So some caps, like a lot of the ceramic ones, are smaller, right? And then some of the other caps are larger. In some cases, like for large value caps, you need to get a certain type, like it has to be an electrolytic, because they don't make like 100 UF caps in ceramic, or at least not at a size that is reasonable, right? Otherwise, the ceramic ones are pretty good, and they're cheaper, right? The Mylar ones are pretty good if you want to make your circuit board look nice, because they have these little plastic boxes and they just all look uniform, right?
Well, we want it to look nice.
Yeah.
So again, we have you know, a bunch of different materials.
Yeah.
And you say it doesn't matter so much.
Nope, doesn't matter at all. Let's go. I like these monolithic ones because they're small, right? And let's see what they got here. Actually, you know what you can do? What's cool about here is you can search by the size. So I'm going to just do 1 UF. And then it's going to give me all the 1 UF. And I'm going to say, hey, give me a 1 UF capacitor, you know? Give me all the 1 UF capacitors here. Oh, there's ceramic. Oh, that's 0.1 UF. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. There's 100 NF, so that's not quite right. Oh, there's a 1 UF. So this is like a film, like polyester film, right? I want one of these ceramic ones here because they're smaller.
Yeah, and as we discussed, the smaller ones will make it easier to put them on the board.
Yep, exactly.
In the box.
Yeah, they give you some space on that particular board. These two right here, and maybe that one, are the 1 UF ones. So these are pretty big, but you can get these even smaller. You can get them about the size of these guys, right? They might be like a little bit bigger than these yellow ones, right? But then they make them big too, right? You know, it depends on the material inside, right? But those are the ones. Let's see. So actually, wait. Let's see. So this is C2, right? So if we look up here, we're like C3, C4, C2. Where's C2? C1, C12. Oh, C2. It's this guy, right?
Okay.
So it's that one.
That big orange one. Okay.
Yeah, this is big orange one right here, right? And then the other ones are. Yeah, C8 and C10, right? Those are the 1 UF ones. So those ones are pretty big. So C8 and C10. So these ones, right? Yeah, these three. All these are like 1 UF. Mine look different because I just didn't have the same part, but these are the same value, so it doesn't matter. The caps, they're measured in farads. Right. Farads, it's like how many, like, I think you can actually boil this down to how many electrons you can store in a location, right? So So a farad is like, it actually equals like, some trillions of electrons, right? And caps are measured in farads. So essentially they're like little buckets. They can store like capacitance, or they can store a certain amount of electrons, right? And then they're measured in farads. And then there's picofarads, nanofarads, and microfarads. And then there's farads, I think, above that, right? So and each one of those differs by 1,000, right? Mm-hmm. So 1,000 picofarads is 1 nanofarad, and 1,000 nanofarads is 1 microfarad, and then 1,000 microfarads is a farad, right? Okay. The symbol for picofarad is like PF, so you'll see caps listed with a value of like 100 PF, right? So that's 100 picofarads. So if we move the decimal place 3 places over, that's 0.1 nanofarads, right? So you might see a cap listed as 0.1 nanofarads, and you're like, oh, that's 100 picofarads, right? If you do the math, right? And then the nanofarads are like NF, and then the microfarads are actually micro, but it looks like a little U with a tail. Like that's the symbol for micro. I guess it's like Greek or something. So sometimes they just list those as UF. And actually the Tayda site's pretty smart. You don't have to type the micro symbol, right? You can just type PF or NF or UF, and it'll give you caps, right?
Cool.
So their search function on there is pretty good. I actually I can find all the parts I want pretty easily. They've actually done kind of a good job.
Okay, so then next on the list, so that was the 1 UF. 40. Well, should we look at? I think I can probably go through and.
Yeah, here do this. You know what's great about this site is just go search with the value. So you're like, I want 47N, and then it's like, oh, 47N capacitor. You get this one, or if you knew you wanted like a film or ceramic cap, you could just choose it off the menu, right? So maybe we want a 47N F capacitor, right? Oh, there we go. Like I said, I like those little yellow ones. They don't have one here, I guess. Oh, maybe they do. 47N. So see, notice the number is different here. It says 0.047 UF. But if we move the decimal places 3 over, right? Because remember, like it's 0.047 UF, but if we move it 3 to the right, then it becomes NF. So that's 47 NF, right? So you can get these are only 6 cents each. I'd buy like 20 or more of those, right? It's like a couple bucks.
It's weird their defaults to 10 for the bulk ordering thing.
Well, it could be that they might have a minimum order on some parts too. I don't know. It doesn't seem to say that there, but maybe they're trying to tell you that. Looks like they have 99,200 in stock, so you're not going to run out.
Excellent. The next thing I had a hard time finding, at least on Small Bear, was the stomp switch. Like, how do I find the right stomp switch?
You know what I do is I usually get those from the Love My Switches guy. Yeah. Like I usually go to that guy's site for switches. Love My Switches. I don't know. It used to be called Bitches Love My Switches, and he had to change the name. Yeah. This guy, yeah. So I usually get the switches here. Let me see. Switches, right? Let's do, we want this one, the 3-pole switches, right? So he's got all these fancy ones, but these are like $2.30. That's like dirt cheap. The blue ones for $2.30. So you can get $2.30. And then what's cool is he's got lugs. So these have like solder lugs that are round. And then these are the tabs that are kind of rectangular. So I don't know how picky you are, but like you could pick the ones that you want. Yeah, these PC mount ones. Oh, these are momentary. So momentary is you have to hold it down and it's on. When you step off, it's off. The latching ones, like it'll usually say latching. Yeah, see, those are momentary, right? Yeah, latched foot switch. So these is like click on, click off, right? And you can get these little circuit boards that fit on the bottom. It makes it easier to wire these up to your circuit right?
Oh, that's
Instead of like having to do all the weird wiring around the lugs, right? You can get one of these. And this has a thing for the LED, and this current limiting resistor, you'd put it here, right? If your circuit board has an LED, then this is kind of wasted, right? But whatever, you know. So anyway, so he's got some switches. Let's see. So these are like 230 each. I think Tayda has these too. Let's go to switches here and compare, right? I mean, of course, like if you buy the parts across two different services, you pay shipping for both, right? So you know that's kind of, you know, the thing too is like if I'm buying switches here, I also buy knobs because the guy has a great selection of knobs. He's got the most amazing selection of knobs, right? Where are the knobs here? Right. Then he's got some other stuff. He doesn't have everything. Like he's got actually a good deal on jacks too. So like jacks and switches, I get them here. Jack switches, knobs. And then for the small parts like resistors, capacitors, transistors, I get them at Tayda. So I'll usually do like 2 orders, right? Where's switchers? I think it's like electromechanical or something like that. Oh yeah, electromechanical, here it is. Yeah, switches. Stomp foot switch, right? So they know Stompbox pedal makers are going to their site. So they're charging $250 for the little board, right? Which is like totally expensive. So I bet they're making money off the little board. They're like, oh, if somebody buys a bunch of parts here, they'll pay $250 for the little board, right? I think that's kind of yeah. Their stomp switches are $250 each. So that bitches guy, or the love my switches guy, is like, you know, his are a little bit cheaper. Like he's got a couple things that are cheaper, and then he's got cool ass knobs. Like he's got these aluminum ones, are super cool. I really dig this one right here, is pretty good.
I like that too. Yeah,
this is pretty good. I don't know that my work lives up to that knob though, but that is a cool looking knob.
Yeah, you need like a shiny chrome box or something.
Yeah, what I dig is I dig these knobs because the line is on the top. Because I got some of these and they have a line on the side, but you can't see the setting from the top looking down. Like these, you can kind of tell the setting. You know, and he's got a large version and a small version, right? This guy also has these jacks that are really good. So they're like, where are the 1/4-inch jacks and cables, right? Let's go here. So these jacks are okay. This jack is super cool. I really dig this jack. It's $155. It's not bad. He's got a cheap version, like that's like a knockoff. It's like the Lumberg clone, and it's cheaper. Oops, I clicked on the thing there. Yeah, and these are like 99 cents each. These are super small, so if you have a tight space, like you're building something in an A-sized box, like one of those mini stomp boxes, these are perfect, right? You know, so these are super small. These are like Nutrix are pretty good. Like these are like super good quality. They're kind of like, these would last longer and have a more solid connection than this guy. And these are kind of like knockoffs of the Switchcraft, which the Switchcraft jacks are just like bomb proof. They're super good. So those are pretty good. Tayda has some of this stuff too. I don't know what the prices are though. Connectors and sockets, right? So let's see here. Yeah, where's the jacks here? Stackable headers, sockets, terminals. No, maybe. Yeah, let's see where jacks are.
Is it in hardware?
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Oh yeah, 1/4-inch plugs and jacks. There we go, right? Let's see. So he's probably got the same Nutric jacks that the Love My Switches guy has. Oh, he's got these too. Like this looks like the mini one, I think, right? Let's take a look. Yeah, see, that's like the mini one.
Okay, it's a little different.
It is a little different. Yeah, so those are 87. So they have a pretty good deal on jacks too, you know?
All right. Could we also talk about the boxes? I was a little, I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm looking at, but do they have the, it would be in enclosures, I bet.
Oh, there it is, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so those...
So I'm going to go to the top.
Yeah, did you see where it's got like, yeah, let's go back, get the menu again here, right? So if you go to enclosures here, right, let me scroll up here, right? Okay, so when you see this thing, it says 1590. That's because there's a company called, I'll think of the name in a minute. I forget, but they kind of made the original Enclosure.
Is that this box?
It could be one of those. That could be a knockoff. A bunch of people make a knockoff of it, and they use the same number, right, or a similar. Everybody always describes it as the number. It's called Hammond. That's the name of the company. So Hammond makes a 1590 Enclosure, but they make a couple versions. So there's a B Enclosure,
so
which is
B.
This is the B, yeah.
Okay.
Right? And then the bigger one over there is the BB.
BB, that's BB.
Yeah. And then the small one, right? Like one of these, that's the A.
This is A, okay.
Yeah, so that's 1590A, 1590B, and 1590BB.
Okay.
And then, but then they also make like a D and a bunch of other sizes. But these are like the three here are the very typical. And I think they make a G size. They they're just all the letters of the alphabet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these are like all the ones that are like super typical Stompbox ones, right? I think this is a knockoff of the Hammond. It's like a cheap one, but a couple companies make them, and sometimes they give them different numbers, but people always describe them as the 1590B.
Okay, well, I think that demystifies the shopping experience for me. So now I just need to add all the stuff to my cart and buy the stuff.
Yeah.